Hey there, how there, ho there, konnichiwa. It's Jeff Diamond back with another sumo video, and this will be the second and probably last Cutter Top 10 sumo style video. I did the top 10 sumo wrestlers of all time, and now it's time for the top 10 most emotional or greatest moments in sumo history. On the doyo, it's been very much amazing and all that. I will be announcing the stuff Gyoji style, as in, like singing style. And then, of course, I will be giving you it normally. Here we go. Juban Tamawashi ni Junini. Tamawashi Niju ni. Niju Haku Niju ni. So Tamawashi 2022, winning the title at age 39. Tamawashi is this fantastic wrestler still currently in sumo wrestling as of this taping. And the fact of the matter is that Tamawashi has had over 1,500 belts without an absence, meaning that practically like 15 belts a day tournament. That's 100 tournaments. That's like 16 years and all that, which is amazing. But Tamawashi at age 39 shocked the world by winning the 2022 Basho, as he played hard to get, but he won it. So Tamawashi was always known for his thing, but not for his age. Like 39 years old. Once you're 35, you're practically done for as a sumo wrestler because, age and your body catches up with you. So Tamawashi was a very hard-nosed wrestler and all that. As my notes is just basically not playing nicely with me. Okay, there we go. Tamawashi. So Tamawashi Ichiro is still is a sumo wrestler, active sumo wrestler, and all that. So he knew what to do. Yeah, he won his second championship at age 37. My fault. I said 39, but 37. The oldest winner of the top division since the six tournament system in 1958, which is pretty much impressive and all that. So it was amazing what he did and all that. In September, he beat Terano Fuji, a Yokozuna, on his way to winning 13 out of 15 belts. And beat every Yokozuna in Osaka in a tournament. He was the first Makashira in 37 years to do so, since 1985, the year of my birth. And then he became the oldest to win a top division title since the six tournament system in 1958 when he was 37 years, 10 months old. Oh, so that was just amazing what he did. Cuban Olympic story. Olympic story. So at number 9 is the Doyo Iris, or the ring ceremonies, performed at both the Nagano Olympics in 1998 and the Tokyo Olympics in 2021. It was amazing and all that. Of course, the 2021 sumo ring ceremony was marred by the fact that there were no fans because COVID-19 basically ruined it, and the sumos just had to try to hit their best and all of that. There was supposed to be a worldwide sumo tournament for the fans at the Tokyo Olympics, but unfortunately, though, it had to be canceled because of the pandemic. However, in 1998, there was a ring ceremony at the Nagano Winter Olympics. And they needed Japanese culture, so they had sumo wrestlers represent different countries and all that. When the countries walked in, there was a sumo wrestler alongside them. Now, Takano Hana, the legendary Takano Hana, was supposed to be the one for Japan. Unfortunately, he got sick, but Akibono filled in for Japan. And also, Akebono was the sumo wrestler who did the Doyo Iri, the ring entering ceremony. And it was a sight to see. Hachibon Hakuo Yangju Go Yusho Hakuo Yangju Go Yusho. So at number 8 is Hakuo's 45 championships from 2006 to 2021, a span of 15 years. He was Mongolian. He was basically breaking the glass ceiling of Japanese sumo experience. He wasn't the first or the last Mongolian Yokozuna, but anyway, he put up 45 top division titles in a 15-year span. To put that in perspective, you have to win 3 tournaments a year to tie him in the 15 years. And this is a 6 tournament a year format. Every odd numbered month. January, March, May, July, September, November. And all that. It was just a masterclass. And all that. He has mentored new Rikshi and exemplifying the modern Yokozuna. It ended a golden era in 2021 when he retired, but the dude put up 45 championships. Normally, a fantastic sumo wrestler, like a legendary sumo wrestler, will win 4 or 5 titles. So to put that in perspective, if you, like a good Yokozuna will win 4 tournaments a year. If you win 4 tournaments a year, you have to do it in 11 years. You have to win 4 tournaments a year, every year for 11 years. And some of the best Yokozuna falter after 8 or 9 years of competition. So that just puts everything in perspective. Yes, you can win championships when you're not a Yokozuna, but still, I mean, the top division, it's hard to believe that Hakuo broke those records. Nanapon, Kisano Sato Yusho, Kisano Sato Yusho. At number 7 is Kisano Sato's championship win in 2017. For nearly 19 years, no Yokozuna was Japanese born. It was just unbelievable. The last Yokozuna, the Japanese wrestler to be Yokozuna was Wakana Hana. That's Takahana Hana's older brother, when he did it in 1998. In fact, Wakana Hana won the title in May 98, and then in June, some sumo wrestlers made a goodwill trip to Vancouver for a sumo tournament. And it was nice to see. You can see it on YouTube if you search 1998 Canadian sumo stuff. Konishiki, who was recently retired, did his commentary alongside other people. But yeah, it was a sight to see. That, you know, you got to see like Akebono and Takahana and Wakana Hana compete in Canada. Nevertheless, Kisano Sato won in 2017. He won the championship, and thankfully, though, that was the second straight. So Kisano Sato got to be Yokozuna, and finally Japan got a Yokozuna in the 21st century. It was massive because it was traditional sumo values and national pride. Unfortunately, though, Kisano Sato's journey would be marred with injuries, and he only spent a few years as a Yokozuna and didn't compete in many tournaments as a Yokozuna or Grand Champion because of his injuries. It was just heartbreaking. Local born Asashoru domination. Asashoru domination. At number 6 is Asashoru's domination from 2003 to 2010. The Mongolian Asashoru Akinori was the first Mongolian Yokozuna or Grand Champion in 2003 and dominated the sport for much of the decade, winning 25 top division championships in the 2000s. Which was pretty impressive and all that. So, like, for 7 years, he won 25 titles. That's 3 titles a year, like 3.5 titles a year. And amazing, you can get 4. Asashuru once won, what was it, 7 straight tournaments, like 6 in 1 year and then another one. But yeah, 7 straight, that's amazing. Not even Hakuo did that. Or the greats. He had a fiery demeanor. Unfortunately, though, Yokozuna was supposed to have conduct and expectations with grace and civility and all that. He made the sport international, which was okay in most senses, but Asashuru basically had that air of terribleness. And the fact of the matter is that he had incidents, such as being suspended for playing soccer while claiming injury. Like Asa Shoru was supposed to be hurt from a and not in a sumo tournament, but then he was spotted playing a charity soccer match in Mongolia and practically was in trouble for it. And one moment that does not make the list as well is the fact that Futahaguro, or Koji Kitao, if you will, or Kitao, was the sumo wrestler at age 21 that was brought up to be Yokozuna when they didn't really have a Yokozuna, despite the fact Chiyono Fuji was still there. But yeah, Futahaguro was a washout as a Yokozuna. I believe he's the only Yokozuna to not win a title as a grand champion while being a grand champion. He won tournaments before. That's why he got to be grand champion. But he did all that. And worst of all, in 1987, he was booted because of the whole thing with his stable master's wife and abused her or something like that, and practically was ran out of sumo. Go on, Takanohana the Wakanohana, Takanohana the Wakanohana. So the legendary sumo wrestlers Takanohana and Wakanohana were brothers and were trained by their father, who was a Oseki. He was not a grand champion like his boys would be. Takanohana set age records. At 17 years and 6 months, he was in the Jurial division, which is the highest paid, the lowest paid, paid, the lowest ranked pay position. Like it was second tier, but he got paid for it. If you're tier 3 or lower, you're basically unpaid. But yeah, Takanohana went Jurial, and then at age 18, he got to Magashira, or the top division. Wakanohana took some time too, but yeah, Takanohana and Wakanohana had a rivalry. Now, of course, the big thing is that Takanohana and Wakanohana, during a 15-day tournament, for example, could not face each other. Rules dictated that two sumo wrestlers from the same heya or stable can't face each other. Like if Takanohana and Wakanohana were in different stables, they could face each other. But because they were in the same stable, and I remember this from the winter 1997 tournament, that Takanohana and Takanonami would have fought on day 15, but because they belonged to the same stable, they couldn't fight each other in the first 15 days. They had to fight in the playoff. There was no doubt about that. They could still play in the playoffs. So Takanohana and Wakanohana tied and had to face off in the January 95 final, which Takanohana won. It was basically a display of familiar pride and pressure, emotionally charged, and a test of skill. Takanohana was already a Yokozuna by 1993, or was it 94? But yeah, he was pretty impressive. Wakanohana took a few more years. Yangban, Akibono, uh, Gaijin, Yokozuna, Akibono, Gaijin, Yokozuna. So in 1993, well, this is number 4. In 1993, Akibono shocked the world by becoming the first Yokozuna not being born in Japan. Akibono Taro, a Hawaiian-born Rikishi, was big. His name was Chad Rowan. He was of Irish descent, if you must know. So he went over to, he was in Hawaii and was trained by Takami Yama, who was known as Jesse Wakanohana. I don't know his last name, but yeah, Jesse was a legendary sumo wrestler who won a title in 1972, but fell off. But he recruited Akibono, and in 1988 he would be there. You got to watch on YouTube the Challenge Akibono Taro video, because he speaks in front of a crowd in English. Of course, that's his main tongue, and tells about the trials and tribulations of being a Yokozuna and being a sumo wrestler in the first place, because he's not Japanese. He was American. Akibono showed grace, class, and the fact that he won back-to-back titles as an Oseki actually meant he was automatically a Yokozuna. The Yokozuna Deliberation Council said that he had the grace and all that. It was a watershed moment, and they needed to give him up. It broadened sumo's appeal globally. The fact of the matter is that, what was it, 7 months, I think it was like 5 months after that, in January 93, when he got promoted, in June 93, that sumo wrestling came to Hawaii for an exhibition, and Akebono had a massive homecoming alongside Musashi Maru and another Yokozuna and another sumo wrestler I will be mentioning at number 3. But the fact of the matter is that Akebono won the Hawaiian exhibition tournament in front of his hometown crowds and his parents too. And it was actually shocking because Akebono towered at 2 meters. He was 6'8". Like 6'8". The taller you are in sumo wrestling, the less you have a center of the higher up you have the center of gravity, and you could be in deep trouble as a wrestler. But he did it. Akebono won 11 Basho. He won in the last one in 2000. He was a station guy. Like he had a restaurant which flopped. He fought in K1 to settle his debts, but he couldn't do too well. He only won one mixed martial arts fight. He did dabble in Japanese wrestling, was a tag team champ at one time. He even fought Brock Lesnar when Brock was in Japan. But yeah, Akebono sadly died last year, April 2024. I think the day after my birthday, which sucks. Sanban! Konishiki Osaki! Konishiki Osaki! So in 1987, at number 3 on this list, was Konishiki's promotion to Oseki, or champion. Konishiki Yasukishi, well, he was born Salea Fuyale Adesanya in Hawaii of Samoan descent. He became the first foreign-born wrestler to make a massive impact. Takamiyama would bring him over to Japan, Jesse, and he was okay and all that. But Konishiki had something special. Never mind the fact that he weighed 180 kilos when he did his sumo examinations, as you see the old school footage of Konishiki getting into sumo. He was 180 kilos. That's 396 pounds, if you want to know. At least that. And then Konishiki used his big body to slap everyone around. He was actually agile and all that. He had some good moments. In 1984, his first major year of being in the top division, he actually shocked Chiyonofuji, a legendary Yokozuna, in a match in November, getting Kimboji, or a special prize if you are ranked outside the top 3 tiers within the Makuuchi division. Then you get a special bonus for every tournament you're in and all that. It's not just for the one tournament, it's for every tournament. Konishiki had everything going. He had rap power, charisma, audience liked him, and paved the way for future international stars. Konishiki had a massive injury, but he bounced back, and by 1987, he was named Oseki, or second highest rank. Yokozuna's highest rank, then Oseki. But he did it. He became the first non-Japanese wrestler to reach Oseki. The only problem was that, well, even though Konishiki did win a tournament in 1989 and 2 in 1992, he was not Yokozuna, because his 2 wins were not back-to-back, even though he did it as an Oseki. You have to do it back-to-back to automatically get it. Unfortunately, though, because of that and what seemed to be his disgrace and all that, the Japanese purists didn't think you could be Yokozuna, and the Yokozuna Deliberation Council were not too pleased about it and kept passing him over. It didn't help matters that Konishiki allegedly told the New York Times that if I were Japanese, I'd be Yokozuna. Unfortunately, though, Konishiki claimed he didn't say it, that one of his junior wrestlers from Hawaii actually imitated him. Konishiki had to tell everyone that it wasn't him, but his goodwill was shattered. Konishiki would keep fighting until 1997 and retiring and all that. Nippon Chiyonofuji Goju-san Kachi Chiyonofuji's Goju-san Kachi. And number 2 is Chiyonofuji's seemingly impossible 53 straight wins in 1988 and all that. So Chiyonofuji was a legendary Yokozuna and all that. He rose up for the ranks, and in 1981, in the January tournament, even though he was Sekiwake, or 3rd tier, he shocked a couple of Yokozuna. He was actually 14-0 till the final day, lost. And then the wrestler he had to face, I can't remember who it was, but both wrestlers were 14-1, and they had to face each other in the playoff. It was said that over 57% of Japanese TVs were glued into that match in 1981. Which Chiyonofuji won and won the title his first ever Yusho, and it brought him to the superstar range. Chiyono was famous for his lean, muscular build, in contrast to many heavier contemporaries. Chiyono actually was the first Yokozuna or grand champion to practically use sports medicine as a way to keep his Yokozuna feet high up. And it worked. He was lean and mean. He was pretty good and impressive. He would win by many techniques. He would beat up on heavier wrestlers like Onokuni and Konishiki. Chiyono would win 53 bouts in the entire 1988, which was the equivalent of winning three straight titles of three straight tournaments at 15-0, going undefeated and winning 8 straight. But that didn't happen. In the space of 4 tournaments, he won his 53 tournaments. He won 2 tournaments by Sencho Yusho, or being undefeated, 15-0. On YouTube, you can see the entire video of everyone he's beat, all 53 people. And using someone's comments, I wrote down like who he beat and all that, the wrestlers. And there were some of the legendary wrestlers like Onokuni, Taiho, not Taiho, what is that guy, 1989? Well, Konishiki, Tenho, I can't remember his name. His name escapes me. But yeah, Chiyono was a legendary sumo, and the world basically lost him too early in 2018. And then now, Ichiban! Taiho winning streak! Taiho winning streak! So Taiho's winning streak is the #1 most emotional sumo moment, 1968 to 1969. Taiho is legend. He's a legendary Yokozuna. His grandson is Oho, O-H-O. He fights in the top division nowadays. Taiho won 45 straight matches, a record at the time between 1968 and 69. He had dominance and he had an eloquent style, and his matches drew crowds across Japan. He was practically the sumo wrestler of the 1960s, in contrast to possibly Kitanomi being the sumo wrestler of the 70s, Chiyono in the 80s, Akeboto Takahana in the 90s, Asashoryu in the 2000s, HAKKEYOI in the 2010s. So, yeah, he had a lot of popular. Sumo was starting to get popular in the Showa era, and he knew what to do and put up 45 straight wins. Taiho was a legendary guy and all that. Of course, his match to break that streak actually was controversial because allegedly his opponent stepped out of the dojo or the ring before he went down, which meant that Taiho would have been the winner. It's reminiscent of Futabayama, who was a great wrestler in the 1930s, that he had 69 straight tournament match winning streak, and it's not too nice. But anyway, yeah, he allegedly lost. His loss was legendary because allegedly, the other sumo wrestler was supposed to be down. But unfortunately, they didn't really have the replay system. Well, obviously, this is 1930s Japan, and Futabayama lost. But the fact of the matter is that Taiho's streak would be amazing. Haku had a long streak too, but, he was the quintessential essential wrestler to bring sumo and Japan back from the horrors that they did in the 30s and 40s. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Sayonara.